Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us because we're going to be talking about something that I think is going to be very interesting for you guys and something that maybe you might relate to. And that's why sometimes we use time and money as an excuse to not get started with the fitness journey. That's something that we've heard from so many people. That's something that we have experienced in the past. That's something that we know clients have experienced in the past. And that's why exactly we want to talk about that. We're going to give you or tell you the reasons why we believe that's happening. And also we're going to share some strategies with you guys to help you get started with your fitness journey. So I have an online fitness coach right here with me. His name is Alex, and I'm so excited to have you in the podcast. So Alex is a specialist that helps people over 40 to lose body fat. And the reason why I wanted to have Alex on the podcast is because you have so much knowledge. I love your work. You're so goal driven, so committed. And I just wanted to hear your point of view about this topic because I think that's something that we've heard in the past. And I think it's going to be good for you guys to listen to Alex as well and listen to a different perspective because you always listen to my voice. But I think when it comes from someone else, it's really good to have both, two different perspectives. But I'm going to stop talking. And thank you so much, Alex, for being here. How are you feeling today?
Awesome. I am absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for inviting me to the podcast. Like I mentioned, I am so used to being on your side of
Mhm.
the podcast and doing the interview. It's very refreshing to be on the other side. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you once again. And tell us, why do you think people use money and time as an excuse to not get started with the finish journey?
I think there are a number of reasons what causes people to give excuses. Money and time are probably the top two of the most common objections that we find for people that want to start a fitness journey, whether it's in person or online. Many people use money as an objection, mainly because they may not even know how much money is involved.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, many people have a misconception of how much personal training costs. Um, the biggest thing that I would say to people to stop looking at it as an expense and look at it more as an investment.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes people see, um, people buy the things that they want, not necessarily the things that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and time, considering here in the US, which is where I'm located, 70% of adults are considered overweight,
Wow.
and 40% of that is considered obese.
Wow.
So you have to see when you are looking at those staggering statistics, the majority of adult Americans are out of shape. So what they're doing is obviously not working. And usually objections are the easiest way to sidetrack
Mm-hmm.
what you really should be doing.
Yeah.
So money and time, most people feel that those are the two commodities that they don't have enough of.
Yeah.
When you think about year's resolutions, most people usually want more money, better health, and more time to spend with their family, their loved ones. So I think it's important when you talk about money, when I hear that objection of, oh, I can't afford it, it's too expensive. And usually my response is, well, compared to what? How do you put a price tag on health?
Mm-hmm.
How do you put a price tag on what it costs to spend a couple extra years with your spouse? How much is it worth to you to watch your grandkids grow up?
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear the money objection, it's really what do you compare the objection to? So it becomes in the sales game, we always say when value exceeds cost, the customer will buy. So, and oftentimes the value or the perceived value that they think they're going to get out of the training doesn't exceed the cost that they think they're going to spend,
Mhm.
i.e., I'm not going to do the training. So I think it's important when you position the training and the health and the return on their investment and help them to see that that actually exceeds the benefit and the cost, then most people will go ahead with it. Now, time is another interesting one because that's another commodity, obviously, that we only have a finite number of. And it doesn't matter whether you're male, female, over 40 like I deal with, and under 40. It doesn't matter. Everyone gets the same 168 hours in the week. And
Mhm.
it's the same 168 hours here in the US, the same 168
Everywhere.
hours where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you get. And so for time, I think it's because people say they don't have time, but I think they don't have an efficient use of that time.
Mhm.
So I think it's very important to, when people say I don't have time, you can't make more time, but you just have to be more productive with the time that you have. I mean, people say they're busy. They're not busy. I mean, 168 hours in a week, and oftentimes we're asking people to work out maybe 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Mhm.
That amounts to what, 3, 4 hours a week out of 168 hours. Mm, I would probably call BS if the response is, I don't have time.
Mhm. Yeah, I like you mentioned some really good points right there. Number one, and something that I agree 100%, I think is misconception. People have this idea, there's a lot of people that have this idea that as soon as they think about fitness, they assume expensive foods, gluten-free products, organic products. I need to work with a PT that's going to be hundreds of dollars every single week. They just put a price tag
Mhm.
without even knowing how much everything's going to cost. They just do gym memberships. I need to buy new clothes for the gym. I need to buy new shoes. They feel like they need to buy everything, and they feel like they need to get the most expensive things, but you don't have to get anything just to get started. All you have to do is literally get started. You don't need new shoes. You don't need new clothes.
Mhm.
You don't have to join a
Yep.
gym. Obviously, yes, gym is something we'll suggest, but you don't have to. You don't have to work with a PT. You don't have to get organic products. You don't have to get gluten free. You don't have to get this. You don't have to get that. You don't have to get supplements. There's so many things that people just assume straight away, and they just don't really know. They don't even know how much it's going to cost. So misconception is something that you mentioned. The second really good point that
Yep.
you mentioned is value. They just don't see the value. And I think one of the reasons
Yep.
why people don't see the value is because when they think about fitness, all they think about is fat loss and muscle building, nothing else. They don't think about their health.
Yep.
They don't think how this is going to benefit me long term, so I can see my grandkids, so I can put,
Yep.
spend time with my husband, so I can do the things that I want to do, be able to run or just walk without running out of breath when I'm older. They don't think about those things. They just think about the physical aspect that fitness is going to bring you. So value is the second thing that you mentioned. You mentioned about time. People are not efficient with the time, which I also agree 100%. Like you say, we
Yeah.
all get the same 168 hours a week. Even someone that is
Yep.
extremely successful in making hundreds and millions of dollars a week, and someone that makes $0 a week, we all get the same amount of time. No one has more time just because they're rich. No one has more time just because they're the queen or the king of the world. Like, it's not like that. We all get the same time, but we just don't know how to schedule our time. We don't know how to prioritize what's more important. We often do or prioritize the things that we want, like watching Netflix, spending time on the couch, going to a party, doing the things that we want, but we don't do the things that we know we should be doing because we just don't want to. We just don't want to.
Yeah.
It's all BS, like you say. It's all bullshit, and say it like it is. It's all bullshit. Like, people
Yeah.
come with so much
Yeah.
bullshit, and it frustrates us as coaches because you and me, we're on the
Yeah.
same page. We want to help people. We truly want to show you
Yep.
guys that fitness can
And
change you so
I think
much.
it boils down to priorities, right?
Mm.
I had a young lady that told me I would love to do training, I just can't afford it. And I said, okay, I get it. I understand. But let me ask a question. If training was free, obviously you would do it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So it's not the aspect of training. You do see the values, you do see the benefits of training. It's you just think it's the cost. Yeah. It's just the cost. It's just the cost. Okay, great. So you currently are working a 9 to 5 and you commute to work 30 minutes a day to work and back. Is that correct? She's like, yep, that's correct. So if your car broke down and it cost you $500 to repair the car, would you find the money to get the car fixed? Oh, yeah, I got to get to work. Oh, so it's not the money because you have the money. It's not a priority
Mm.
because if your car broke down and you had to come up with $500, it's a higher priority for you to spend that 500 to get the car fixed so you could get to work.
Mhm.
But if the same 500 was the cost of you to better your health and possibly increase the years that you are around, then no, I don't have the money for that.
Mm.
Hmm. So it really becomes priorities for people.
Mhm.
It's not the actual physical amount of the money because apples to apples, 500 here, 500 there, you could come up with the money if you needed to. It's just it's not a high enough priority. And I think it's the pain isn't high enough. And I hate to use the word pain, but people are driven either towards pleasure or away from pain. It's the two ways that most people make decisions. And so if you don't have a toothache, most likely you aren't running to go to the dentist, even though you know you probably should.
Yeah.
But when that toothache hits, you're like, schedule an appointment for me immediately.
Mhm.
And so it's really just priorities. I mean, it's pain, and when the pain becomes high enough, people will move.
Mm.
And I think what happens is we as trainers, we need to help individuals understand where they are.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that we need to Jedi mind trick them into, hey, your pain is actually more than what it really is. But I think it's very important that you frame the pain correctly
Mm.
because you may have someone that is overweight. They know they're overweight. They're taking medication for high blood pressure. They're pre-diabetic, but to them, the pain is not high enough or severe enough for them to intervene.
Yeah.
So I think it's our job as coaches to help with the intervention process that we deal with preventative rather than reactive, right? So we want to get you in shape before that stuff, before the wheels fall off, right? Before you start being bedridden, before you have medications, before you have doctor visits that you got to go to regularly. So I think that's partly on us to
Mm.
make sure that we frame the experience, I'll say, to something that is more preventative health wise than it is to, hey, now you're in this situation. What are you going to do to get out of it? So
Mm.
I always tell people you are exactly where you are based on the decisions that you've made in the past.
Yeah.
You can't change them. They're done. You've made, but now what are you going to do about it?
Mm.
So you're in this position and it's cliche, but nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you're like, well, I mean, you came to us for a reason, right? I mean, you need help. You
Mm.
know what you're currently doing is not working. You come to us for help. And we're telling you we have the prescription, we have the help. But you don't want to take the help because you say you don't have the time and you don't have the money. So
Yeah.
I think people just really need to understand that, if they continue to there is a price of inactivity. So you don't do anything about it, your health further declines, you
Mm,
get on more prescriptions. And ultimately, the end result is you may not be here tomorrow.
mm,
So, I mean, I hate to make it like gloom and doom, but sometimes some people are in a space where if they don't do something about their health condition, they may not be around for too long.
mhm. Yeah, it's obviously, yeah, it's not something that we want to mention, talk about health and things that can happen. But I feel like this is something that people really need to hear because once again, people are just focusing too much on the physical aspect and they're not really worried about their health. And like you said, it's all about priorities. People are prioritizing the wrong things, like fixing your car. Yeah, I'll make the money because I need my car to go to places. But when it comes to my health
Yeah.
and fitness, that's not something that I need right now because they don't have the pain. They're not suffering from anything just yet. They have the blood pressure is under control, everything's under control, so they don't feel like it's just not a must right now. And that reminds me of someone. I really, really, really wanted to help this guy. This was last year. He's very overweight, like really, really overweight. And I was so excited to work with him because I was like, this guy truly needs my help. Like this guy truly needs to, lose some weight. He had so many health issues. And I was very excited to work with him. And when it got to the time that we were gonna start working together, he gave me the excuse of I don't have money. And I was like, look, if it's just the money, we can make it work. But I don't want money to be the only thing to stop you from this. Like I obviously didn't see this. I didn't say this words, but I was like, you clearly need my help. Like you are very overweight. If you don't do anything about it now, many things can happen tomorrow, next week. You already told me
Yeah.
that your man is having health issues. You already told me that your dad is having health issues. Do you want to be the next one having all those health issues and then not be able to look after your mom, your dad, and yourself? Like, do you really want that for yourself? And he just disappeared. And why? Because he didn't feel that pain just yet. Even though he was like this
Mhm.
close, like literally this close from getting that pain. It's like, why wait until then to do something about it? If you know you can do
Yeah.
something about it right now, like why do you have to wait? And I feel like another reason why people use those excuses, time and money, it's because they don't want to get or push themselves out of the comfort zone. They want to keep doing what feels comfortable because again, training,
Mhm.
nutrition, is straight away they think, oh, now I have to make the time to go to the gym. Now I have to get
Yeah.
up and go for a walk or go for a run. Now I have to prep my meals. Now I have to eat chicken and rice every single day and eat veggies. I don't like veggies. I need to drink more water. I don't like drinking water. And it's like, well, if you don't make a change, how you say, if you don't make a change, nothing changes. It sounds cliche,
Right.
but if nothing changes, if you don't make a change now, you're gonna keep looking the same way. You're gonna keep feeling the same way. If you keep doing this, who knows what's gonna happen? Like, do you really want something to happen? Like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is the only way you're gonna make that change. Making the time to
Yeah.
prep your meals, because like whether or not you're in a fitness journey, you're still gonna eat those meals. You're still gonna have your breakfast. The only difference is making a different choice. Instead of having your high sugar cereal with, I don't know, maybe a Coke and something else that you drink, you just replace that with something a little bit better, something that will give you more nutrition. So you're not really changing that much. You're just changing the things that you're putting into your mouth. Instead of you just spending time all day sitting down, if you're working, on a computer, you just get up for 10 minutes, go for a little walk, just start small. But we need to,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe, I don't know if accept is the right word, but we just need to realize that, yeah, it's going to take us to push ourselves out of that comfort zone a little bit, but we need to change
Yeah.
the habits. We need to change
And
something.
one of the things that I often tell a client or a potential client when they give me the money objection, I tell them, hey, listen, I get it. Money doesn't grow on trees. And when it does, give me that tree. I'd like to have it.
Yeah.
Um, but I tell them it's not, I don't want to give them a new expense. What I want to do is I want to help them reallocate their current assets. So many people frivolously spend money on eating out every day or other unhealthy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
getting snacks all day. So what I like to do is say, okay, well, let's figure out the budget that we have. Now, if we can help you to prepare your food meal plan, I can take that money that you are spending every day on, I don't know if you guys got Starbucks out there, coffee
Yep.
wise.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And that coffee is what, $5, $6 a cup or
Yeah.
whatever it is out there.
7, 8.
But I know
Yeah.
it's expensive here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going out to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that can cost whatever that is a day, multiply that times 6, 7 days. And I say, well, why don't we take that money that you would have spent eating out, eating that unhealthy stuff, and now let's take that money, put it towards training,
Mm-hmm.
put it towards your health. And now let me show you how to take that money and use it for grocery shopping, for some nutritious foods, and show you how to prepare them so you get the same amount of meals, but now we get you some better calories, some better macros. We get more
Mm-hmm.
protein, which is going to be better for your body. We're going to help get you the proper carbs that's going to properly fuel your body. We're going to get you the right fats that you're going to need for, everything else that's going to. And now we've actually the same money that you're spending throughout the week, we've just reallocated and helped it be a little healthier. So I think people just they need options and they need to understand that it's not going to be necessarily an added expense,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're the professionals. We're
Yeah.
the ones that are able to show you how to move stuff around. And it's crazy because I don't know a single person that would go to the doctor and the doctor would tell them, hey, this is what it's going to cost for you to get this medication. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there would be a single person that would say, doc, I just don't have the money. They
Yeah.
would figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the prescription that we provide may not be in the same, I don't know, level that the prescription would be from their doctor or another
Mm-hmm.
professional, but it's the same. And so, as a trusted professional, which we are, and I'm not even going to go into all the people that are online that are not qualified to give advice, that are TikTokers and
Mm-hmm.
influencers and no credentials. I won't even go into those folks. Um, But folks like you and I that have actually taken the time to perfect our craft and have actually taken the time to study
Mm-hmm.
to be able to tell them, hey, I'm qualified to give you this recommendation. I didn't just wake up and say, oh, well, I think this is no, I have proven track record. I have success with other clients that have listened to my advice, and this is where they've gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all that to say that people really need to start trusting us as professionals that we're not looking to make a quick buck as to, and I tell people all the time, listen, I would much rather have results than have a client. So
Yeah.
if you think that I'm trying to get you on board as a client because I need your money in order for me to whatever. And then you decide you want to get in, you don't want to take any of the advice that I give you. I would much rather you not be a client
Mm-hmm.
because you are a direct reflection of me. So I don't want you out in the streets and someone's like, wow, you're working with a trainer? And you're like, yeah, Alex is my trainer. And you're like, well, man, I must not be a good trainer. So I mean, I tell people, listen, if yes, it's going to be a cost, right? And the cost is going to be your time, your energy, your commitment, but it's an investment. It's something that is going to pay dividends years down the line. So if you buy anything, you buy a pocketbook, you buy or purses or whatever you guys call them over there. We call them
Mm-hmm.
pocketbooks, right? But there are people that buy expensive bags and you get no return from it. And it's like, well, I mean, I
Nothing.
like the bag.
Nothing.
Yeah, okay. But for the price that you pay for that bag, you can pay for training and be great. So
Mm.
I guess it all goes back to priority. So when I listen to money and time, I really kind of cut right through it. And what I really like about you is you have the same no nonsense attitude that I have. It's I don't want to hear it.
Mm.
You no, no. You do have the money, you do have the time, and I would rather you just tell me you don't want to do it.
Yeah, I think it's
So
yeah, I like how you put everything. I like how you explain everything. I think it's just an easy way for people to see or understand in that way. And I also think like with us as coaches, like you and me and people that we work with, we are very picky with the clients that we work or the potential clients that we want to work with because we don't care about the money. Money is just something that you get because you're doing the work, but it's not all about the
correct.
money. We truly want to help people. And if we're going to be working with someone that is going to waste our time, we value our time. I'd rather not work with that person
Yeah,
that is going to waste my time. I'm not your
yeah,
babysitter. I'm not going to be chasing you. I'm not going to be telling you all the time, like, hey, do your check-ins. Like, hey, upload your pictures. Hey, are you on track? Hey, are you on like, are you doing your trainings? Are you doing your meal plan? For a little bit, yeah, it works. But if it's going to be for a long time, I'm sorry, but go work with someone else that is just going to take your money, is going to be happy to take your money, and is doesn't care about you or your results. That's why I always say, like, really invest in a coach because, like you said, there's so many coaches out there, some great coaches, and also some coaches that just want your money, or some coaches that don't
yeah,
have the knowledge. They just influencers, they just fitness models, they just people that woke up one day and realize, oh, you can make so much money out of this industry. Let me be an online coach. And I think that's why people, when they hear about the prices or they know that they have to make an investment, they don't want to do it because they know that there are other coaches out there that charge only $30 a month for a customized program, training program, and meal
yeah,
plan, or $40 a month, something very, very cheap. And they're like, oh, why should I pay? Why should I go with this girl if I can go with this trainer and just pay $30 a month, which is nothing. And it's like, yeah, you're paying
yeah,
nothing. So true, you're paying so cheap, but cheap also will get you cheap results. And I can guarantee you're
yeah.
not gonna get the results. You won't
And I
be.
say all the time, cheap is expensive, right?
Mhm.
So, you have folks and I mean, just think about it. If you needed open heart surgery, would you rather your general doctor do it, or would you want a specialist like a cardiologist do it?
Yeah.
And if I was having open heart surgery, I would want someone who specializes in the heart. And when we go to people and say, "Hey, I'm the specialist," I mean, I'm a fat loss specialist. I specialize in helping you lose that body fat. So you can go and get a generic program and pay $20, $30 from some general person that's got no credentials, that has no experience, that is not a specialist, then yeah, you'll get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
But when you deal with a specialist, which we are, then you pay for our experience and you pay for our implementation. You don't pay for our information. Information is everywhere on the internet. If you wanted a workout plan, you could go to Google, you could go to ChatGPT, you could say, hey, write me a exercise program for a week and I need a upper
Mm-hmm.
lower or I need a push pull leg split and it'll spit it out. You don't pay us for that. You pay us for the implementation of that knowledge.
Yeah.
So if you're just looking for information, get one of those cheap folks, or matter of fact, don't even pay them. Go get it free from the internet. There's tons of stuff out there, tons of information. They'll give you workouts. You can follow them. But the issue is, it's not that you don't have the information or the information isn't out there. It's out there. And if it's out there, why is 70% of adults here in the United States overweight?
Mm.
The information is out there. Everyone knows how to lose the weight. Everyone knows what exercise you should do, but 40% of those are considered obese.
Mm-hmm. That's
So you really have to, what do you value and what do you prioritize? Your money, your time, those are commodities. Time, once it's spent, you're never getting it back. Money, once it's spent, you can get more. So I tell them, yeah, and the priorities of commodity, time, yeah, I value time and you need to value time. So I get it. If you don't have time, let's work out how we can help you prioritize the time that you have. It's not that you don't have time. You're just all over the place.
Mhm.
So we'll help you put together the time. We'll give you a schedule. We'll tell you. And going into how you can help people with the time is I have my clients put their workouts right in their calendar. On Sunday, they schedule
Yeah.
them just like it's a doctor appointment. They schedule them just like they're taking the kids to school. I have them schedule when they're going to eat. I have them schedule when they're going to do their walking. I have them schedule when they're going to do their self-care time because what gets scheduled gets done.
Mhm.
So what happens is people don't schedule. The day runs them instead of them running the day. And then they're like, oh, I don't have any time. Well, yeah, because you didn't plan anything. So we can help you plan your time. So that takes care of that objection. So great. Now, yeah, you have time. I'm going to show you how you have time. And then the money, bunch of different ways of handling the money. I mean, you go to buy a car, they don't ask you to give them the whole price for the car when you get there. They say, we got options,
Mhm.
right? So you can put a down payment. We can spread the payments out over. It's just there are options that are available to people, and people need to realize that hey, they're options. And we as trainers need to make sure that we let individuals know there are options.
Mhm.
Hey, this is the investment for you to get started. Now, are you able to do the entire investment or do we need to break it up? Do you need to put a deposit down? Do we need to make installments? Whatever it is, but there are ways to help individuals with the money and time objections. So for anyone that's listening to this podcast and you are researching a personal trainer or a coach or whatever you want to call us, and you think you don't have the money to get started, have the conversation to find out A, how much money are they talking? Is it you have zero budget
Mhm.
or you have some? And most people would say they have zero budget, but they really have some budget. So Christmas time comes around, they find money to buy packages
Mhm.
and
Always.
presents,
Mhm.
everything else. There's budget. It's just what do you prioritize, what you want to spend the money on? And
Mhm.
then for time, if they're like, well, I don't really have the time, I'm a busy professional, I have 3 kids, I have 2 jobs. Well, let us show you how it really doesn't take a lot of time for you to be healthy. So, I mean, that's what I would say with money and time objections. And
Yeah, but I
what are
think
your thoughts?
you mentioned such a good point about people when they think about coaching, I'm gonna work with a coach. All they think about is just, okay, that coach is gonna give me a meal plan and a training program. But they don't really think about what goes behind, like, what we do behind the screens. Yes, you get the meal plan and the training program, and exactly how you say, you can get it online. Like if you go to YouTube, if you go to ChatGPT, if you go to Google, literally you can type, give me a training program 3 days split in a meal plan. I want to lose 10 kgs. This is my weight, my height, my age, activity level. You can get it. That's the easy thing.
Yeah.
But what about the accountability? What about the
Yeah.
support? What about the questions that you have in between? What about when you feel like you want to snacking? What about when you have those times that you feel very emotional stress or you have that anxiety and you want to go and eat that ice cream and go crazy? What about when you feel guilty? What about when you don't have a healthy relationship with food or with training? Because maybe before you were overtraining or maybe you were developing an eating disorder. Like, what about that? Like, you don't think about that because you don't think that when you think about coaches. We do so much for our clients, and that's because we want to do it. That's because we know that it's not just fitness, it's more mindset. Like mindset and fitness, they
Right.
go together. It's not just one thing, it's the two, because the body, is the easy part. Losing that body fat is the easy part, but changing that mindset,
Right.
changing the habits, developing new habits, that's the challenging part. And that's something that we help you with. We help you to see things from a different perspective. We help you to manage your time better using the schedule. And that's exactly what I do with my clients as well. I think, and I'm a true believer, like having that schedule, putting everything down makes a huge difference, because once you get better at organizing and structuring your day, it's going to be much easier to make the time, instead of you saying, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have the time. Even if it's like a scheduling time for your meal prep once a week, twice a week, for the gym, same day, same times, every single week. Like, you have the time and you have the money. You just don't have the right priorities, or you just don't see the value. Yeah, you don't see the value of what you can get from being coached by someone, or even starting with your fitness journey. But what's one tip that you will give to someone that is really wanting to start with the fitness journey right now, but they feel like they don't have the time and they don't have the money?
One tip for folks that feel they don't have the time and don't have the money to work with a coach, or
No, let's just say, let's make that the second question, but the first one, with no coach. So it's someone brand new.
no coach?
Yeah, no
No
coach.
coach. All right. So no coach. So if you want to do it on your own, which I normally don't recommend, because you have tried that in the past and you see where that got you. So you are where you are because of the choices that you make and what makes you think it's going to be any different. But putting all that aside, so let's just decide that, okay, hey, you don't want to work with a trainer, but you don't have money and you think you don't have time. My first tip to you would be to find 3 days a week, whatever days that you want,
Mm-hmm.
set aside a minimum of 30 minutes and go for a walk. That's level one. Go for a walk. There's so many health benefits of going for a walk. Make it daily, make it 3 times. Great. Second tier would be, now we need to add some type of resistance training to it. You don't have to spend money to buy dumbbells and kettlebells, and bodyweight exercises work very well. You can do push-ups, you can do bodyweight squats, you can do lunges. The foundational movements are your push-pull, your hinge, your squats, your carries. And so I would say you can do it for the comfort of your home. Pick a couple days a week where you just set aside some time. Doesn't have to be for 2 hours and 3 hours. Set aside 30 minutes. Do some squats, bodyweight squats. Do some push-ups. Do some lunges. Do some planks. Do some crunches. Do something. Right? So that is just level one, level two, very basic stuff. Get your body moving. And for folks that don't feel that they have time, that's 30 minutes, 3 times a week. You're talking an hour and a half of 168 hours in a week. I'm sure you can find it.
Mm-hmm.
For folks that feel they don't have the money, none of that stuff costs anything. You go outside, the air is free. You go take a walk.
100%.
Uh, you do some exercises in your house. It's free for you to sit in a chair and stand up. It's free for you to do some squats on your own. It's free for you to do push-ups at home. None of that costs any money. So for folks that are like, hey, I don't have any money, I don't have any time, those are very easy ways for you to get started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, those are some really good tips. But I do believe that people might try that and it will work for a little bit. But I know from experience, my own personal experience and working with different clients, that doesn't last too long, because it's easier to lose motivation. It's easier to the first week, yeah, be very motivated. Second week, yeah, very motivated. New Year's resolution. But then that motivation is gonna go down. Why? Because maybe you're going back to work. Maybe you start telling yourself, oh, my life, I'm just getting too busy with work. I have too many appointments. Or my kids, they're going back to school. I have too many things to do. And you start making excuses and then you stop with the journey. You stop with the thing that you started. And I also believe that people stop not just because of the reasons that we mentioned before, but also because they're afraid. They don't want to commit. They feel like if I commit, I'm going to fail and I don't want to fail again. So they'd rather stop sooner rather than later because they feel like, I've already tried this before. It'll really fail. What's the point of me trying again? And that's why I will say, like, even if you feel like you don't need the coach, believe me, you do need the coach. Even us as coaches, we have coaches for different things because we don't know everything. And if you don't know something, if you want to get better at something, you need a coach. Like if you want to learn a new language, yeah, maybe you can learn it by yourself, watching videos, listening to music, that's great. You can do it. But one, that's going to take you forever. Two, I can guarantee you won't be as committed to learning that language every single day or every single, I don't know, second day. And three, it's not going to be very beneficial because you won't learn everything. But when you have a coach, you're going to save time. You're going to gain so much knowledge. You're going to have a better structure. You're going to have someone that is not your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife, someone on the outside to keep you accountable. Because when people tell me like, oh, my boyfriend is a PT, he's helping me with everything, I respect that. But I can guarantee because he's your boyfriend, he's going to be nicer with you.
I
He's
don't respect
like,
it.
oh, yeah, like,
I don't respect it.
really? Yeah. Why?
Respect it because if your boyfriend or girlfriend is a PT and you are not in shape, then what kind of PT are they?
Mm.
There's no way in the world that I'm going to have someone on my side and they're not going to be in shape or at least on a journey to being in better shape.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are like, oh, my boyfriend's a PT, so what? I mean, you you still have the same problems.
Yeah.
So I think the problem with me is I just give it to you straight, no chaser. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna pull any punches. You're still overweight. So what benefit is your boyfriend being a PT if you're still overweight and you're still eating the way that you're eating? That's no benefit.
Exactly.
You are probably not going to listen to him when he tells you to do something,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not going to provide a support community for you, for other people that are going through the same struggle you're going through. He's not going to be able to be objective with you because he's got that personal connection to you. So yeah, I very rarely even listen to people when they're give me that excuse. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But I tell people, look, there are professional athletes that have coaches, professional athletes that are at the top of their game, and they still have coaches. Why? Because there's always a next level. And if professional athletes have a coach and you are just regular Joe or regular Sally, and you think you don't need a coach, I don't get it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
explain that logic to me. If you know you are overweight or you know you've got a condition that you want to change that you haven't been able to change, then nothing changes if nothing changes. So you need to change one of the variables. And
Mm-hmm.
the variable would be a coach. And what's the worst that can happen if you hire a coach and you don't get results? Then you tried it, didn't work out, and now you know. But if you never try, then you'll never know. So I always tell clients, I mean, a wise man will investigate what a fool takes for granted. So take the time, investigate with a coach. And I tell people if you're going to choose a coach, don't just choose one because they're popular, or don't just choose one
Yeah.
because you like the way the body looks. Spend the time to make sure that you connect with that coach. Why? Because the relationship that you have with your coach is going to transcend just the physical side. There's going to be emotional stuff that happens. There's going to be mental stuff that happens. There's going to be stuff that happens in your personal life that we end up listening to and end up having to help navigate that. So choose your coach based on who you actually have a connection with, because your fitness journey is not going to be an overnight success story. That
Mm,
coach that you choose is someone that is going to be with you running that race, running the marathon, not running the sprint. We're the ones that's going to be with you 90 days from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, making those little incremental changes that are going to take you from where you are to where you want to be. So take the time, get a coach. Don't just get whoever you see. And I tell people, hey, I may not be the coach for you.
mhm.
I get it. I truly believe in my heart that there are people out there that are already assigned to me. So I don't worry about it. It's just my job to find those people that are already assigned to me. And I know everyone's not assigned to me. There are some
Yeah.
people that are probably assigned to you.
That's
Great.
yeah.
Not that I'm a coach or you're a worse coach, but we just aren't assigned for those people. And find who you are assigned to be with
Mhm.
and work with that coach. I mean, there are great coaches out there, there are bad coaches out there, but take the time and find the one that resonates with you, because that person is going to be with you for, hopefully, should be more than a short period of time.
Mm. I love how you mentioned that. And that's something that I always mention as well. Work with someone that you can relate to. Don't just work with that coach because she or he have an amazing body. Don't just work with that coach because they're really pretty and I want to have the lifestyle. You're not going to have the lifestyle just because you work with them. Coaching, it's something completely different. And like you said, like we might, even though we want to help everyone, we might not be able to connect with everyone. We might not be able to have that because we have a relationship with our clients. Like it's not a romantic relationship, obviously, but we still have a relationship. And if that relationship, it's a good and a strong relationship, it's going to be easier for them to be more successful in the fitness journey because they're going to feel comfortable with you. They're going to be feel comfortable with asking questions, with asking silly questions, with asking too many questions, which is something that we want because we truly want to help you. And I don't expect everyone to come to me. I don't expect everyone to like me. I don't want everyone to like me. I just want the people that
Yeah.
can connect with me and can relate with me to ask for that help because I truly want to help them. I want to work with people that are committed. We want to work with people that are committed. We want to work with people that are going to give their 100%, even if obviously not every single day is going to be amazing. But as long as you try, as long as you ask for help when you need the help, as long as you try to give it, a little bit more of you, that's what we want. We want that because that's how we're going to be able to help you a little bit more and create that success story that we want to create. Not just us or not just you, but we work as a team together. We give you the tools, you do the work, and
Yep.
together we make it happen. And I think that's why we are so passionate about what we do, why we love fitness so
Yep.
much, because we truly care about people
Exactly.
and we truly care about changing lives. Because something else I always say, I say like fitness changes your lives in so many different ways, not just your body, but it helps you to push yourself out of your comfort zone. It helps you to get out of your little bubble. It helps you to be more
Mhm.
confident at work. It helps you to be more confident or have a better relationship with your partner. It helps you literally with everything, guys. So please think properly before you want to work with someone. Don't think too much to get started with your fitness journey. Stop using
Yeah.
money and time as an excuse because exactly how we just mentioned, you're just making that as an excuse. Nothing else. It's just bullshit. You have the money, you have the time, you just don't want to do it.
Right.
Simply don't want to do
Yeah.
it. But yeah, thank you so much, Alex, for being here. I truly, truly enjoyed talking to you. I like how you put everything into perspective.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. We have a coach, right? So
Mhm.
I tell clients I have a coach.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. I know exactly where you're at. The same things that I ask of my clients are the things that my coach asks of me. I've got a weekly check-in that I need to do. I'm held accountable for things that I need to do. My coach asked me, is there anything that you think I should know? Confidentiality, of course. So, I mean, there is that component where you have that relationship with your coach that you are going to discuss things that are not necessarily just macros and workouts. So, it's certainly been my pleasure, young lady. I appreciate being able to share this space with you. I hope that we were able to provide some valuable information to anyone who catches the sound of our voice out there. You're not alone. There is help for you. We are here to help you. And just reach out. I know this is our passion. This is what we love to do. And just allow us to serve and allow us to help you the way that we know that we can.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to get so much value. I know for sure, like if you're listening to this right now or watching this, I know that you got so much value out of this podcast. And I know that right now you're thinking, so if you need that help, go reach out to Alex, look at his Instagram. He has some really good content about nutrition, about mindset. Everything that you need to know or you want to know, you will find everything on his page. Go give him a follow. What's your Instagram handle?
It's Coach Alexander Levy, Levy. And certainly anything that I could do to support you, young lady, of course. I love watching your content. So helpful. I send my clients to your page. You know, because there's so many things that, you can connect with a client that maybe I don't, right? So I could say the same exact thing, but coming from a female as opposed to coming from a male, it comes off a little bit differently. So, I appreciate everything that you do. For anyone that is listening to the podcast, you already know she is a dynamic individual. She is a fantastic coach. If you have not given her the opportunity to help you, I would say reach out to her and at least let her sit down with you and give you a game plan session. And I know she's got the background, she's got the expertise to provide the results that you're looking for. Just reach out. We aren't mind readers. We don't know who exactly needs the help. You may see us out there on our page, but follow, shoot us a DM. We're very accessible. And certainly we would love to help any and all. So just reach out, folks. Reach out and thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you once again for making the time, for being here, for giving us all your knowledge and all your value. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you like it, please share it on your social media. If we can help more people, let's do it. It's free. All you have to do is just share it on your stories. That's it. You don't have to pay any money. If you like this episode, share it and tag me at Daniela Del Carpio. Until next time. And as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao.